I really liked getting to know Mr. Lydgate a little bit better and Rosamond a little bit better. I highlighted a couple things that I just really liked. Um, I like the way that she described Rosamond from Lydgate's perspective. Um, Lydgate was almost forgetting that he must carry on the conversation and thinking how lovely this creature was, her garment seeming to be made out of the faintest blue sky, her soul so immaculately blonde, as if the petals of some gigantic flower had just opened and disclosed her, and yet with this infantine blondness showing so much ready self-possessed grace. And I also really liked a hidden soul seemed to be flowing forth from Rosamond's fingers, and so indeed it was, since souls live on in perpetual echoes, and to all fine expression there goes somewhere an originating activity, if it be only that of an interpreter, in regards to her playing, and I thought that was lovely. I like that Lydgate feels very relatable, like he's kind of like the self-made man, which is kind of the opposite of what has been the tradition, I guess. Like, he's more modern. I like that this section, he's like, I have a plan. I am not going to marry for at least 5 years, and I am not going to let Rosamond distract me from that. I just thought that was so relatable. And I really, really loved the descriptions of him studying. It's on page 157 in my edition, but I highlighted like half the page because I just love the way she wrote this. And then it says when he was done studying, he clasped his hands at the back of his head. In that agreeable afterglow of excitement, when thought lapses from examination of a specific object into a suffusive sense of its connections with all the rest of our existence, seems, as it were, to throw itself on its back after vigorous swimming and float with the repose of unexhausted strength. And I really like why he wanted to go in the medical field. Like, it was challenging for him, but he also got to see and help people, which I thought was really admirable. And that's relatable for me. Like, that's what I like about my job. I get to help people, but it's also challenging enough where I come up with problems every day that I have to find a solution for. So it's still mentally stimulating, which is really nice. And then I also noticed later on, I really noticed that the narrator has an opinion in this book, which I absolutely love. And it says, our passions do not live apart in locked chambers, but dressed in their small wardrobe of notions, bring their provisions to a common table and mess together, feeding out of the common store according to their appetite. She just has so many good quotes here. And I really like that Lydgate and Bulstrode are kind of maybe foils of each other. I don't know if that's quite the right word, but like Lydgate feels very like modern and he wants to be self-made and he's very focused on his career and like really focuses on the importance of like scientific thought and science and being kind of progressive, but he's very innocent in love and doesn't realize that he might get in trouble with Rosalind. And then Bulstrode's very like anti-modern. He's very like wealthy and he's the stereotypical like super strict evangelical Christian, like the, far end of the spectrum. He likes to manipulate people. He entangles himself in politics. And I just think they're really interesting. And I also like that in this, money is kind of performing the function that family honor once did, and then debt is more than a financial obligation so far in this book. And again, the web of social relations comes into play again. And it's just so fun to put all these little threads together and see these themes kind of go through here. I'm really having a good time. Okay, I can definitely feel the small town politics ramping up here. One thing I liked was that one must be poor to know the luxury of giving, which I thought was really interesting, and still kind of relevant today. The other thing I liked was, Lydgate was talking about one of his old colleagues, and he said, I said the fault was in the men, like the medical profession, men who truckle to lies and folly. Instead of preaching against humbug outside of the walls, it might be better to set up a disinfecting apparatus within, which I thought was really interesting. And it's still kind of relevant today. Like, we try to, like, put a Band-Aid on the problem, but we don't actually fix the problem, be it, like, health, politics, poverty, education, whatever. So, really relevant. And then I also really liked that Mr. Fairbrother said, you must learn to be bored. And I think that is so true. Oh my gosh. When I was teaching, my 8th graders did not know how to be bored. They were just on their phones all the time. And then if they weren't able to have their phones, they would kind of get into trouble or talk because they didn't know how to be bored. And I just remember growing up, my grandparents, I would stay with them after school until my parents got off work. And my grandfather would always be like, you're too smart to be bored. Like, you need to learn to entertain yourself. And it was one of the best lessons that I have ever learned. So I just thought that was really interesting too. And what cracked me up, it says, don't you think men overrate the necessity for humoring everybody's nonsense till they get despised by the very fools they humor? So true. And then Mr. Fairbrother was telling him, Mr. Lydgate, that says, we Middlemarchers are not so tame as you take us to be. I am a party man, for example, and Bulstrode is another. If you vote for me, you will offend Bulstrode. You know, he goes on to elaborate from there. And I like that it wasn't just a black and white thing. And Mr. Fairbrother's like, well, I think that not everything he does is bad. I mean, his hospital idea is really good, but I don't like XYZ. And they're just kind of talking about it, and I thought that was really interesting. So I'm really anticipating some drama or like a rivalry to pop up between Lydgate and Bulstrode. Because like I said before, they're kind of opposites, or at least opposites in that Lydgate is more modern and Bulstrode is more traditional. And in a small town, oh my god, that'll really blow up. So I am ready for the soap opera to begin. Okay, this chapter was kind of stressful just because it gave me flashbacks to like the last 2 elections, and I can't handle it. I just can't. So, yeah, I'm hoping we're kind of gonna go back to the people, even though I know this is a study in provincial life, and there's gonna be religion and politics and all that. A little too close to home in this one.